In today's video, we're checking out the Flamma FX20 headphone amplifier. This is not only a headphone amplifier, but it's also a dedicated audio interface. We get so many different amp models and presets. This can also be used for direct recording out into my computer, and that's what you're about to hear in this jam track. And then we'll get over to some isolated tones and I'll talk about how this works. A massive thank you to Flamma for sponsoring this video. If you want to check this out, I'll link it down in the description box below. This is super cool. I hope you like the tones. Here we go. Here's the Flamma FX20 up close. So just know in the box we get a USB-C cable and the USB port is on this side over here. Now this Flamma headphone amplifier can not only work as a headphone amp but as a dedicated audio interface, which means we can use this to record. All of the samples in the intro track were recorded directly out of this USB-C into my computer, and I think the results really sound great. You'll get a good sense of how some of those stereo effects work in just a moment, because when you hear it isolated, I think you'll get a kick out of this. Now, a headphone output socket is over here. You can still record out of here if you want, but if you just want to plug this into your guitar and rock out just with some headphones, that's where you plug in. Over here we have our on-off switch. Now this also goes into Bluetooth mode, so if you want to use the app on your phone, which is free, you can simply put it into Bluetooth mode, or if you just want to use the presets that you've stored, just put it into the on mode and you're good to go. We get an output volume control over here, which also controls the output level if you're going out over USB-C. We get a preset button on this side, which allows us to store up to 4 of our favorite presets. And this is color coded. So we go blue, purple, green, and red, and then back to blue. So you can store your 4 favorites and color code them so it makes sense to you and just recall them without the need for the app. I really like this. On this side, we get our drum machine option as well. So you can turn the drum machines on and off. You can tap tempo or BPM, beats per minute, which is what it's called. You can change the type of drum machine and a plus and minus button over here for the volume. Now, what I would recommend is using the app for the drum machine. It's a lot easier, but it's great that they've got it sort of sorted out here. And once you find one that you like, you can turn it on and off and you'll be in business. Including the box, we get a USB-A, which is this side, to USB-C, which is that side. So if you want to plug this into any computer, you can do so. It's compatible with both Windows and Mac. While this is very small, we get a whole bunch of different effects, including 52 different amp models, 14 different modulations, 5 delays, 5 reverbs, 40 different drum grooves, and full Bluetooth or USB connectivity. So this thing is fully loaded. I hope you get a kick out of this video. If you like the tones, please leave a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section what you think of this, and a massive thanks to Flamma for sending this out. I'm going to break this video down into 3 main sections. So we'll go through some of the clean presets that you can choose from within the app, then get over to some of the crunch and heavier tones, and then I'll show you how to store and save your very own preset, including all of the tools that are built into this, including the drum machine and also the tuner. I'll timestamp everything down below, so if you want to skip ahead, back or forth, you can do so. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off by taking a look at some of the clean presets. So to get into the preset list, once you've got the app open here, tap on where it says Chorus Clean, for example, and you've got all of these different options here on screen. So you can choose any of these and then customize them to your liking. It's pretty cool. So we're going to pick 5 clean presets to begin with. I'll go through some crunch ones and we'll take it from there. Here we go. Beautiful. It's got some nice delay, so if you want to go back to the actual preset, there it is here. So I can then select any of the modulations or adjust them and all that kind of stuff. So everything that's in that preset is now on screen, which is really cool. Let's go over to the twin clean. We'll go neck pickup. That sounds like a Fender Twin. It records beautifully. Over to the one I can't play. Well, I can, but I'm not going to. So if you want to rock out in a guitar shop with that one and annoy everyone, you can do it. Actually, it's a great sounding tone, but yeah, that song, man, it gets overplayed big time. Over to Blues Clean. This is a great clean preset. Sounds nice on neck pickup. Over to Slash Clean. Yeah, it's almost a U2 sound, that one. It's pretty cool. And lastly, over to Studio Clean, which gives us a big atmospheric clean sound. Here we go. It's pretty musical. Let us know what you think. Up next, we're going to go through some of the crunch and lead tones, starting on the first one, which I customized as well. So this is based on an angle. Have a listen to this. Yeah. So that's what I used for the lead tone in the intro. I love the sound of that. I think it sounds pretty great. Over to Dirty Plexi. Yeah. This next Marshall preset has more of an 80s vibe. It's great for rhythm guitar. Yeah. Up next is Blues Overdrive. Now this gives us a really great sort of bluesy lead tone. Yeah. All right, we're going to go over to the metal. That sounds great, man. That's super cool. Let's try this. This should be a bit of fun. Yeah, so you can definitely get that Carlos style sound. Yeah, all right. Over to a Mark V high gain preset now, which is based on the tones of a Boogie. It's got the feel of it as well. It has that sag to it, which is really nice. Over to Killer Queen. Let's have a listen to this. It's a great rhythm sound. This next one's called Bite the Dust. Have a listen to this. this last one's called Laylaaa. Have a listen to this. It's got some delay on there as well, which is sort of lingering around, but yeah, you can turn that off if you don't like it. Up next, I'm going to show you how the app works and how to store and save your very own preset. I'm going to store a clean preset and a drive preset. So the cool thing is, as you can see, we've got a blue light here. There's a preset button. As I push the preset button, we go through each of the 4 presets, and this will also be indicated on the app at the very same time, which is great. So by default, this is the clean tone. Now that sounds nice if you love the big 80s sound, but I'm not a huge fan of that. So what I'm going to do is turn off the delay and modulation. We're going to go into the amp setting. So if you tap on where it says amp, it brings you into the amp setting. And if you tap on the amp icon itself, it turns that particular effect off, but you want the amp sims on. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the bass a little bit. I'm also going to bring up the master output volume, maybe back the mids off. We'll go for that nice big twin clean sound. Here we go. Sounds pretty nice to my ear. Let's go into the reverb here. Now, one of my favorite reverbs now is plate reverb. I'm a huge fan. I actually like it more than spring reverb, and if I want to customize it, I tap on reverb and it brings up all of my options. Sounds pretty good. I'm going to put the decay up a little bit more. So it just lingers around a little bit longer. I like that a lot. Let's go up to the delay options here. So as you can see, we've got all of these different options. Big fan of tape. Let's use that. We'll go into this. I also don't want too much of this. So that sounds pretty cool. If you want less of the delay, you can just turn down the level and feedback. The feedback is how many repeats we get. That sounds pretty great, but what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more gain to this twin. This gives it a little bit more of a hotter signal without actually clipping, so that clean tone sounds really good. So if I want to go and save this, I tap on the little pencil icon over here and I can change this to whatever I like. So I'm just going to change this to Shane Clean. Now I get a location that I can store it in, so I'm just going to leave it in this second one, but on the actual headphone amplifier, it's stored now into the blue preset because that's what I started on. All right, so let's go over to one of the lead tones. The funny thing is, so many of these lead tones sounded great, so let's have a listen to this. All right, I'm going to work with this one. I'm also just going to show you a few of the different amp models we can choose from here. So there's all of these, right? This is really cool, man. It's a very powerful app. It allows you to basically pick and choose any great amplifier. Let's go down to the Angle. It's a Black Star. It actually sounds pretty wild, so I'm going to use that one, something a little bit different for me. Now, if we go down to the delay here, I'm going to change this to a digital delay because that's always a good lead sort of sound. Yeah, all right, so we've got the spring reverb dialed in. I'm going to change this one to a Hall, and I'm just going to back that off a little bit just by using my finger here. My phone stops sliding around. right, there's something weird going on here with the delay. I think it's just a little too prominent. It's giving me just too many repeats. Yeah, that's great. All right, so I'm just going to save this one as well. Let's do this. Shane, lead. All right, let's get over to this next thing. So now what I can do is if I go back to the blue preset, which is the first one, I've got my clean tone. So that's my clean tone on the blue preset. Then if I go over to the purple one, which I just stored before, I get this tone. So I can see this working in a number of different ways. One, you could either just set up 4 tones that you love and you can use all of your different guitars, or you can set up maybe 2 presets for a Strat and 2 presets for a Les Paul or something like that. It's up to you how you want to use it, but yeah, it's very easy to get going, and once you've got them stored, they're in there for good. Let's go through some of the tools built into this, and I'll show you the drum machine to begin with. So if I tap on tools on the lower right hand side, it brings up this drum machine here. Now by default it's set to 100 beats per minute, but I've already used this just to get a good idea of what it can do. Now if I tap on the Rock 01 here, it gives us all of these different drum tracks to choose from, which is awesome. So there's plenty of different grooves. There's 40 all up, which is insane. So that's great. Now over here is our volume for the drum machine. So this is the playback of the drum machine. I can turn it on by using the unit, but I can also use the app. By default it's set to 10, so turn it down to 4 because it gets quite loud. And let's give this a shot. I'll run you through a few of the different drum machines. I won't go through all of them. So you can jam along as well. So there you go, there's just a quick look at some of the different drum grooves that are in here, which is great. And if you want a tuner, you can go over to the tuner, and this works great, but you do have to have your volume on your guitar for it to register. So it does mute the effect, but you just get like a basic dry signal. So I was just out of tune there towards the end. I tune up before every take for those wondering, but it gets a little warm where I shoot under these lights, so sometimes the strings can go out, but as long as it's in tune with itself, it's good. And this tuner, I think, is pretty accurate from what I can tell. I actually tuned up using this just before. So let's have a look. Yeah, spot on both. So no problems with accuracy there. One of the cool things about this app is it was really easy to get going. So all you need to do is basically load up the Flamma app, turn on the Bluetooth on the unit just by using the switch. There's a Bluetooth icon. Swipe right once to the FX20, and then it connected first time. It updated the firmware as soon as I connected it, and I have the latest firmware. It was one of the most easy setup processes, and I'm just recording out via the USB-C for this entire video. So it acts as that audio interface, giving us great tones for recording or whatever the case may be. Stereo effects as well, which is pretty wild. Let's wrap this video up. I'm gonna give you my pros and cons of the Flamma FX20 headphone guitar amplifier. This thing is so good. If you were to buy one unit very much like this, I would recommend this one as the best that I've used, and I'll talk about why. There's two trade-offs with this one though, so it's not just a favorable review, I actually list the pros and cons. So one, I wish that this was just a little bit tighter. You know, if you're playing a Les Paul, for example, by the end of the jam, you might end up having it, you know, in this orientation. Not the end of the world, but definitely worth mentioning. While it does come with a USB-C cable, if you want to record, I really wish it had a longer USB-C cable. So I had to use one of mine from a microphone that I've got to sit here and then record to my computer. It's not the shortest cable in the world, but I just wish it was that little bit longer. But there are really my only two critiques. I think first up, the tones, the amount of amplifiers and modulation, delay effects, and all that kind of stuff you can get out of this is really in a class of its own. It's great, it's very intuitive to use. You can store your favorite presets and recall them nice and simply. You also get the drum machine button on the side, so if you want to start just jamming along, you can do so. And the app itself is very intuitive, and I love the fact you don't have to sign up to use it. You download the app for free. There's no DLC where you have to pay for anything after the fact, at least not with the free version here, which is what I'm using. And you get the full functionality out of this, and you can store your favorite preset. If you don't want to use that USB-C cable, you can obviously just use this with headphones and get the full stereo effect of some of those presets, or you can record out over that as well if you've got the appropriate cable. So there's a lot to like about this. I think if you're looking for a headphone amp that does everything and has all the different tones under the sun, this would definitely be the way to go. I filmed this video pre-release, so I'm not exactly sure of the price, but knowing Flamma, odds are it'll be very competitive and it will kind of outprice a lot of other stuff on the market that's very similar to this. So if you're looking for something that's an full-blown modeling amplifier in a headphone amp situation, this would be the thing that I would take away with me. I reckon this is awesome. Let us know what you think. Thanks again for watching, and I'll put the price on screen if I can find out what it is ahead of finishing the edit. But yeah, Flamma make really affordable gear. Their multi-effects pedals are fantastic as well. If you want to check out some of those reviews, I'll link them up in the cards. Thanks for watching.